Caitlin Clark might have a problem on her hands very soon, as during the Indiana Fever's victory over the Minnesota Lynx on Sunday, things got rather heated. With about 2.5 minutes remaining in the third quarter, Fever rookie Caitlin Clark was called for a technical foul after colliding with Lynx forward Cecilia Zondalicini. And these technical fouls could become a real problem for the rising star. It all happened after the Lynx made a turnover. Clark found herself with the ball in transition, but Zondalicini grabbed her to prevent a fast break. Clark reacted angrily to her opponent's infraction, hitting Zondalicini in the face. Following a review by the officials of what was termed a hostile act, Indiana's prized rookie received a technical foul, her fourth of the season. Clark now has 4 technicals on the season, tying her for second most in the WNBA. 3 additional offenses will result in an $800 fine and an automatic 1-game ban. And having to sit out a game as arguably the best one of the squad is not something Coach Christie Sides would be happy with, let alone Clark. Clark's previous technicals were the result of arguments with referees and a heated contest with Seattle Storm guard Victoria Vivians. Another to her name simply adds to the mounting rumors about her volatile temper. But isn't that same fierce temper one of her motivators as well? Do not take this the wrong way. Over-complaining, punching opponents in the face, and being teed up are all bad ideas, especially if the player in question is a crucial member of the squad. Still, Clark has always worn her emotions on her sleeve, and some claim that it has given her a competitive advantage on the court, resulting in NCAA records being broken. While it's evident that she needs to work harder before she can compete with the WNBA's best talents, Clark is doing very well for a rookie. She averages 16.8 points, 7.8 assists, and 5.9 rebounds per game, which may be credited to the competitive edge she brings to each game. But she needs to take an extra step in overall performance if she wants to compete with the greats in the league. But this will surely come in the upcoming months or seasons. Moving ahead, perhaps it is better that she directs her energy in ways that do not harm her team or the faces of opposition players. Many basketball stars, both in the WNBA and in the NBA, have discovered a method to express themselves on the floor without fear of consequences from referees. Imitating them might be a starting point. And why don't you express yourself by dunking that subscribe button, helping us get one step closer to reaching our goal of 1,000 subscribers. Thank you. Let's move on. What do you think? Will Clark pick up a suspension somewhere during the season? The Fever currently sit at 11 wins and 14 losses and are ranked 3rd in the Eastern Conference. They're on a 2-game winning streak, one step closer to achieving the elusive winning record. Caitlin Clark must fulfill her role on the floor in order for this to happen, which entails more than simply getting baskets. And if Caitlin wants to further help the team, she has to get rid of one part of her game, a part that has been hurting the team in the long run. As the Indiana Fever defeated the Minnesota Lynx 81-74 on Sunday, Clark set a new record, a -1, and while Caitlin Clark has impressed this season, her 139th turnover set a new WNBA record for the most turnovers in a single season, according to ESPN's Myron Medcalf. Clark did not have an exceptionally efficient game, scoring 17 points on 5 of 17 shooting and 2 for 11 from 3. She did add 6 assists, passing Sue Bird for the most assists in a season by a rookie, which is good news for Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark had 6 turnovers in the Fever's victory. She is charged with running the show for Indiana in her freshman season, and teams protect her mostly from the inbounds because she has excellent range and can bomb threes from the logo. It's natural that her turnover total is high, but establishing a single-season turnover record was not something she intended, and it's something she'll surely want to work on as she gets older. Clark has sorted things out and improved throughout her debut season with the Fever, which is quite promising. Many believe it will only be a matter of time before she figures out how to play her best in the WNBA. It would be fascinating to watch how she performs the remainder of the season, especially after the Olympic break, because she has effectively been playing at full capacity since the start of the previous college basketball season. The Fever had a terrible start to the season and had to work their way out of it. The Fever, with the backing of Clark and others like Aaliyah Boston, have won 3 of their previous 4 games, defeating excellent opponents such as the New York Liberty, Phoenix Mercury, and Lynx. The loss to the Washington Mystics during that time was particularly disheartening, although it is worth mentioning that the Lynx were without Nafisa Collier on Sunday. Nonetheless, the Fever must be pleased with their current standing following this recent stretch of play. They are currently 11 wins and 14 losses overall, good for 7th place in the league and 3rd in the Eastern Conference. With a great end to the season, they may be able to catch up to a team like the Mercury. Indiana has one more game before the Olympic break tomorrow, on Wednesday against the Dallas Wings on the road. It would be fantastic to start the break with a victory. The Fever will play at home against the Mercury on August 16th, providing a great opportunity to move up the standings. The month of August concludes with 5 more games against the Seattle Storm, Lynx, Atlanta Dream, Connecticut Sun, and Chicago Sky. There are some key matches against strong teams in that period. The Fever then have 8 games left on their schedule in September, with a game against the Lynx and 2 against the Las Vegas Aces standing out as particularly difficult. The remaining meetings with the Wings, Los Angeles Sparks, Dream, and Mystics are all winnable. It'll be intriguing to see where the Fever end in the standings and who they face in a potential playoff series. If she brings her A game like she did in the game against Mercury, the Fever should be fine and will easily lock in playoffs. Caitlin Clark stood out in the game on Friday night, which ended in a 95-86 home victory over the Phoenix Mercury. Clark produced her 5th consecutive point-assist double-double, which was the constant part. She also recorded 13 assists for the 3rd consecutive game, but how she acquired that number was different. For starts, she scored 7 in the first quarter. This is the most in any quarter of Fever franchise history. Clark and her teammate Kelsey Mitchell ran all over the place. The Indiana rookie threaded the needle while her seasoned partner sped cut by cut. Clark only had 2 assists in the second quarter, but she made up for it by scoring 10 points on 4 of 5 attempts. She even started the game with a 29-foot triple. She was different, more energetic and sharp. In the past, viewers waited to see if the Clark show would air. On Friday, she directed it. "I thought we just came out and played really aggressive," Clark said, when asked whether Friday felt more comfortable than usual at point guard. "I think that was kind of our mission from the jump, is come out and attack. That's what we did for 3 quarters." Fever head coach Christy Sides was asked the same question about Clark's performance. "I don't know if it's more dynamic or I think she just does what she does," Sides said after the win. "She's got the ability to draw several defenders and has got a crazy eye for her teammates and where they are and moving and able to make passes that some people. In the first half, my gosh, she dropped 2 down to some post players. I don't know who could have made that pass." Perhaps there is bias. The Fever scored a season-high 95 points against a battered Phoenix club that lost 2 starters to injury and another midway through the second quarter. Brittany Griner, the rim protector, was the player who left, making it even easier for Clark to be fearless in charging the hoop, probably the most she has ever done. The Fever have just returned to their customary starting lineup. In Wednesday's loss to the league's bottom Washington Mystics, Sides went with Clark, Mitchell, Lexi Hull, Katie Lou Samuelson at 4th, and Aaliyah Boston. Nalissa Smith, the typical 4, was replaced. After 2 days of interrogation, Sides addressed the media on Friday, identifying the situation as a team matter. Smith was moved back to the 4 position, Samuelson was moved back to the 3 position, Lexi Hull came off the bench, and the Fever attack returned to form as they defeated the league's top New York Liberty last week. Phoenix trailed by 23 points entering the 4th quarter, but pulled within 4 points around the 3-minute mark. Phoenix Olympian Kalia Copper had 36 points. Clark's performances may go in 2 directions. The first explanation is that the lack of assists in the second quarter was due to a deterioration in communication with teammates, and that was mostly the responsibility of both parties. The second caveat is that Clark set up her teammates so many times that she probably should have had 16 assists with more makes. She has 13 in the last 3 games, 3 shy of matching the rookie single-game record. "It's so fun getting to pick apart the defense," Clark said, "especially when we get stops on defense and get to go in transition. I just get excited. Honestly, a lot of my turnovers, that's where they come from. Just trying to play exciting basketball in transition, I feel like I can almost overpass because I want to set them up so badly. It adds a whole other dimension." Exciting basketball was an understatement on Friday, and they brought it back last Sunday, even though it came more from her teammates than Clark herself. What are your thoughts? Will the Fevers lock in playoffs after the Olympics break? Let me know in the comments down below.